Hello and good evening, everybody. My name is Elamin Abdelmahmoud. I host a show. Yeah, thank you. Not defunded yet. What's up? I believe Canadians are calling it the Mark Carnaissance. Is that what they're calling it? No, they're not calling it that. Hi, my name is Elamin. I host a show called COMMOTION on CBC. Welcome to the Fairmont Royal York and the Canadian Journalism Foundation Awards for 2025, everybody. Come on in. Let's go. I want to start by thanking my colleague, Davnit Doyle, who is just absolutely the best, for starting off this night on this brilliant and patriotic and inspiring foot. I think part of being a journalist, well, first of all, part of being a journalist is not seeing your colleagues for 35 years until you hang out with them tonight. And you're like, there's a guy on stage, but I should talk right now, which is fine. Totally chill with me. But also, I think part of living in the universe of journalism means recognizing that two things can be true at the same time. That it hits different to hear Davnit tonight sing the national anthem, and also that you start by rooting yourself where you are. And we are on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat people. Toronto, yes, Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. And just because I do think land acknowledgements need an action, you should leave tonight and then Google the Toronto Purchase and understand what went into making this what it is, because that's something you should probably understand. On behalf of the CJF, thank you to our presenting sponsor, CIBC, for making this evening possible. And we hope you enjoyed also catching up with your colleagues, which I can see you doing right now from my perch, because our reception was presented by Labatt Breweries of Canada. Look, on a serious note, I don't have to tell you that we gather tonight in a world that is vastly different than it was a year ago. While much of the current discourse revolves around so much, including economies and trade wars, our industry is also involved in a war. That is a war between truth and commerce, a war between clicks and facts, and then you add into that a worldwide suppression of journalistic voices and troubling eradication of human rights in places like Ukraine, and in places like Palestine, and in places like my home country of Sudan. And it's clear that the threats to our industry and our very way of life, we used to maybe think of them as theoretical, and they're not. They are existential at this point. I can't tell you at this point that truth and commerce in that war, truth is winning. I can't tell you that. But I can tell you that we have Tanya Talaga on our side, and I like our chances. Tanya, congratulations, buddy. Of course. I think that is why evenings like this are more important than ever. So tonight we get a chance to celebrate people who have persevered, people who have indeed thought twice and continue to do this fight. So over the next 2 hours or so, or if you're trying to catch the Kendrick Lamar show after this, an hour and 55 minutes, question mark, we are going to be recognizing those among us who are the most meticulous, who have been putting in the effort, and we're going to recognize them for their work. Unlike every journalist who hands in something way after the deadline, which is me, I want edits immediately after I hand it in, even though I just handed it in. We also are going to recognize all of the sacrifices and the toil that led to each nominee having their name read out tonight. This night is the 35th year of making a difference. The Canadian Journalism Foundation believes that, yes, Canadian Journalism Foundation believes that as journalism goes, so goes democracy. Tonight, we get a chance to honor that democracy. We salute Canadian journalists and Canadian news organizations that tell stories, that inform people, that educate, and also hold those in power to account. Tonight, we're shopping Canadian, so let us begin